Channing Tatum, aka almost Gambit himself, talks a little bit about his personal beliefs on why Disney and Marvel, after they bought Fox, did not move forward with the Gambit film. And he believes it's a little bit too risky for them to produce, which sort of doesn't make sense, but we'll talk about that. So Channing Tatum has already talked about the Gambit film that could have been, or would have been, if you will. And he says that more or less the tone of the film and what they were going for and what sort of a picture they were trying to paint for the film and the vision for Gambit wouldn't necessarily line up with what Disney is doing with the Fox properties currently. Now, this seems a little weird considering that they're moving forward with Deadpool 3, obviously, but I think for clarity's sake, he didn't explain it good enough. And I think it's honestly the whole idea of continuing the Fox X-Men universe that doesn't fit what they're going for. Deadpool, sure, that's a proven billion-dollar franchise. We can find a way to work that in and bring Deadpool into the MCU. Gambit, something that was never produced, that was unproven. I mean, you got nothing there, right? You can't point to a money sign and go, see, it'll make money. And they more than likely have a different idea for Gambit that doesn't necessarily line up with what their version was. Now, in regards to him saying how the tone and some of the ideas don't line up, I truly do believe that that's probably a part of it as well, just not as big as some people think. Because realistically, we understand that their film was going to be really cheap. Like, we're talking the final reported budget for what they were allowed is like 30 million. I mean, it essentially would have been an expensive pilot for HBO. So, there's different scales and there's different things you got to look at. And ultimately, what are you going to do with Gambit if it doesn't succeed? And I think that's probably part of the holdup as well. And if you guys remember those concept art pieces we saw, it paints a more depressing and violent picture, and Gambit being like depressed and drinking. Probably don't want that in the MCU as well, just because that takes the character in a different direction to what most people know. And most people just want Gambit from the 90s cartoon. So I think it all kind of compounds together, and the fact that their vision probably just didn't work as a whole. So hopefully we'll learn more about this in the future. I would love to get more concept art and storyboards like we did previously, but who knows? I guess we just played a wait and see game, and we'll see what happens next.